This absolute beast of a black box is Yamaha's flagship receiver right now. It's the RX-A3050 Avantage, their premium line. And like its predecessors, it's got all the power, all the processing, all of the inputs, all the things, right? But this year, two things are new. It does both Dolby Atmos and DTS-X surround formats, and Yamaha's MusicCast, which is a really great tool for spreading music all over your home. Now, if this receiver is going to be out somewhere where you can see it, I think you'll enjoy the fact that it's got a really clean front face with a glossy top side and a more matte black bottom end here. Just two control knobs, one for volume and one for input selection. And then a whole bunch of goodies are hidden under this panel here. You can get at a USB port, HDMI port, and a headphone jack, just for example. Now, as you might expect, there's a whole lot going on back here, but don't worry, it's not as confusing as you might think. There's a really healthy selection of HDMI inputs, 7 back here, 1 up front, 2 HDMI outputs. Of course, there is a phono input for your turntable. You've got Ethernet and Wi-Fi. This antenna also works for Bluetooth as well, more on that later. And then a wealth of different speaker terminals. This is going to allow you to set up a 7.1.2 or a 5.1.4, a lot of different configurations for surround sound, whether you want to go with Atmos or not. Now I want to take a second and actually take the hood off this guy, because a lot of what makes this receiver special is the build quality. Right away, you're going to notice we have a really big power supply here in the center. And then you can see there's sort of a mirror design. That's because they separate the left and the right channels from each other for the cleanest possible sound and the most separation possible as well. Now, like most major receiver manufacturers, Yamaha builds an auto setup routine into its receivers. Theirs is a little bit different though. You still get the mic that you plug into the front of the receiver and spits out a bunch of test tones and calibrates your stuff, but there's this boomerang looking thing that you can attach to a tripod, and it's got 4 individual positions for measurement. So the idea here is that it gets a read on your speaker's height and angle, and that's supposed to help make it a more seamless surround sound. I have always said that with these auto setup systems, you have to take the good with the bad. And in this case, there's quite a bit of bad. First of all, it's saying my front right speaker is wired out of phase. I doubled and triple checked, it is not, so we'll have to fix that. The size of the speakers, mostly wrong. The front, left, and right are indeed large. I can understand why the center would be large. It's in a cabinet and it's amplifying the bass, but the surround speaker is definitely not large. And the crossover points for those front height speakers, completely off. I don't think Dolby would allow that high of a crossover point for those Atmos speakers. So the other problem I have is that when I went to go do this setup, there was nothing that kind of indicated that I was setting up an Atmos system, and I kept looking for that place. So I'm not entirely sure that I'm getting the right setup here. But on the positive side, the distance and the speaker levels are pretty much spot on. If I went back with a dB meter and a tape measure, I would find out that those settings were good. So some of these are dubious, some of them are not. I say go ahead and save the results and then go back and fix everything that's wrong. So clearly this thing is going to rock your home theater, but what else can it do for you? Well, that's where MusicCast comes in. MusicCast is Yamaha's own proprietary sort of wireless multi-room speaker technology. And I think the coolest thing about it is that you can take any input from this receiver and beam it out to any Yamaha MusicCast speaker, or it'll send a Bluetooth signal out to that speaker so that you can actually use a Bluetooth speaker with, say, the record player that's connected to your receiver. It's a really well thought out system. It's definitely closed with the Yamaha family, but then you bring in those Bluetooth speakers and you've got a lot of versatility there. So once again, Yamaha's flagship receiver is everything that you really should expect from a flagship. It ticks all the right boxes. You've got a lot of clean, dynamic power. It's just as great for music as it is for movies. It does all the best processing of the latest surround formats. It's 4K friendly with the latest HDMI ports. I feel like it's about as future-proofed a receiver as you could get right now. My only concern, however, is the setup process. The auto setup really misses the mark. In fact, I'm gonna say just don't use it. Dig in, do a manual setup if you can. Get yourself a dB meter, grab that tape measure, get all the measurements right. Make sure that you go into the layout section and tell it what kind of an Atmos speaker system you have, if that's what you're running. You're gonna have a lot more confidence that you got it right that way. I think that's the only thing that this receiver misses. Otherwise, it is absolutely top notch and I have no problem recommending it. It's worth every penny of its $2,000 asking price.